Hey, how's it going, guys? Today, we're going to talk about how I aim a slingshot. Don't go away. Now, there are many things that'll basically create an accurate shot. Now, we can put aside form, we can put aside a bunch of things, but there's one thing I never hear anybody talk is sight picture. We're going to go into that a little bit. We're going to head on down to the line. I've got more room there. I can actually get a better view on it, but we'll talk about a few things. I'll talk about how I line up a shot and how my eye actually perceives the target when I'm getting ready to shoot. Now, there's two main options, I guess you could say, that I use. One of them is kind of like how you would use while shooting a firearm, for example. And the other one is the adjustment that I had to make due to my eye surgery that I had. But we're going to head on down to the line. I'm going to give you a quick look. We'll do a little bit of shooting, and then we'll talk about it. But first, I want to show you something real quick. I've had this brisket on the barbecue for about 4 hours now. And today, we're shooting the Spitfire from Omega Slings. And we've got some .45 Omega Slings, tapered from 22 to 14, with an Omega Slings pouch on there. Let's go talk aiming. Basically, okay, before we get into it, let's just deal with one thing. For those of you who shoot it instinctive, this does not pertain to you. And I'm talking about the true instinctive guys, not the guys that gap shoot or whatever it is. People like to throw instinctive around all they want. But true instinctive shooters that like to shoot seem to have precise, accurate shots that somehow leave their pouch without really aiming at anything. And it seems like their projectile is passing through the air, but guided by God. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't understand it. I can't get my head around it. So we'll put this aside. This video really is not for you. But for those of you who shoot using a reference point or even gap shoot, this still works for you. You have to have an anchor point that's always the same, whichever you choose, the corner of your lip, the side of your nose, the back of your ear. In my case, it's the cheekbone. I lock my thumbnail on my cheekbone. The second thing you're going to do is, for those of you either use a sight or a fork tip, your goal is to create a straight line from your cheekbone to your target and line that up. That's your goal. So while you're aiming at the target, it's going to be our top little flipper down there. I want to show you basically what you're looking for. So you got to make sure that you're anchored. Your forks are stacked on top of each other, nice and even, and you're using that fork tip as your sight or reference point, whatever term you choose to use. So let me get in behind this camera. I'll see if I can line up the shot perfect for you, so you can see what the bands are going to look like going down. And I want this to line up directly under my eye. So when I'm looking down there, that band is going straight out towards the target, towards that target. Now, as we're looking down, we're aiming at that top guy. We got it set up as close to possible. We want to make sure that that band is stacked directly on top of the other one. And we're aiming it directly at that little brown target there. Now, the more sturdy you can hold this hand, the better. And you want those bands to be pointing directly straight at it. You said, there we go. We got a good view of it now. You want that to be directly straight at it. Sorry, guys. Just to go over it one last time to make sure I'm understanding, or I'm putting out what I want to explain clearly. So on a firearm, how I was trained to shoot was basically, this is your rear sight. That's your rear sight, is your target, is your anchor point. Your front sight, being your fork tip, is there. You want to make sure that your fork tip and your anchor point are in a good relation to each other. So they're not up or down, left or right. And that comes down to your form. So as you're stretching out, bands are stacked up on top of each other. Your bands are pulled evenly and your anchor point's always the same. Always the same. If you go into wider forks, this can cause all kinds of stuff, but we're not getting into that. Second thing you want to do is make sure that you're looking down those bands and everything's in the exact straight line, everything's stacked on top of each other, nice and even. Now, that's the relation between your front sight and your back sight. You want to make sure that those bands aren't leaning more to the left or more to the right. They're very straight, extending a line straight down to your target, and you're gonna smoke it when you shoot it. And the third thing I do is when I'm looking at it, my sight picture, which is something I think is neglected, is not mentioned enough. The sight picture, you want your fork tip to be sharp and you want your target to be on the blurry end. See how it's kind of blurry? You have a little bit of a harder time kind of getting that on there. You don't really know where it begins or where it ends and all that stuff. This is a much better sight picture, although it's not as drastic when you're shooting, but it is what it is. That's how you basically want it to look. Bang on, straight down the pipe. I know that the camera does it more extreme than what it actually is. It's not that much of a difference between here and there. But what you don't want to have happen is your eyes switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's going to cause all kinds of problems, and you're not going to get your proper lineup that way. But this is how I shoot a slingshot, guys. And it really helps with your consistency. Anyway, I hope this helps out somebody. I hope it makes sense to somebody. And give it a try. Give it a little while. It may take a little bit of an adjustment period, but I do think that your accuracy will be getting better. And that is how I aim a slingshot. Don't rush your shots. Ooh, barely got that one. Oh, missed. That's the Aries, guys. I will wrap this up with a quick look at that brisket. Set on up there. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys take care. Stay safe. Get out and practice. Be good to each other. I'll see you again soon. I love you guys. You're freaking awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, if you're interested and you want to pick up some ATO merch, I've got a nice new line going on. I've got some coffee cups, I've got some stickers, hats, sweaters, jackets, and t-shirts. Now, I wanted to mention the whole sight picture thing because it is critical to my accuracy. I've found it's made a big difference when I'm conscious of how my sight picture looks. On this end screen here, I'm going to attach a couple of playlists about tutorials on bands and how to shoot. You guys take care, stay safe, and shoot straight. Bye for now.